Hey, what's going on? It's Sunday morning and I'm coming at you to talk about the Black Midi show I went to last night at October 9th, 2022. I am on my very first cup of coffee, a little bleary because I didn't play last night, but it was a great night and I had that buzz, so it's hard to sleep. I love it. Cheers, everyone. What I want to tell you about Black Midi is I went to this show because I knew that I would see some people who know how to play their instruments. They're young and they're interesting. And that's what I got. And that's exactly what I wanted. It was, I wanted to get up front and watch that drummer, Morgan. Is that his name? I think so. And I did. Right at the bottom of the stage in front of him. And he didn't disappoint me. He is not a show off. He is he's a rhythm machine, and he's very jazz. His approach is so jazzy and free. I mean, it's like he's right on top of everything, and yet I loved watching him because I'm really familiar with the records now. I was hoping they'd have something different to buy. They just had their 3 albums, and I already have them. I had the other one out just because I was listening to it. So I didn't buy any merch. I'm not a t-shirt person. It's like I wear t-shirts, but I don't buy them. Quite a few t-shirts I wear have been given to me. Yeah, the whole band though is really quite good, and they appear to be holding up pretty well on the road because the road is hard. And being a musician, I can tell fatigue, and when you have to kick in that extra gear to make it through a show. They were in pretty good form last night. Cameron, the bass player, he appeared. I've seen him more animated, and so maybe last night he was tired, or he kept his sunglasses on. I always wonder about that too. You know, when a person at night on stage wears sunglasses anymore, you know, if that's something that they need for the moment to get through the performance. Sometimes it seems like that might be the case as opposed to just being trying to look cool on stage. He played really well, sang well, but he seemed detached. I've seen him more animated. Jordy took him a while before he started doing his little dance. Played his ass off. Now he's really good. I enjoyed watching him play too because he's got technique like Robert Fripp. He's he's really quite precise with his picking, and I wanted to see that up front. Welcome to Hell possibly is the name of one of those tracks where it's the. They played it really well. As in almost all live situations, the vocals, you can't understand a word, and they're so verbose. You know, they're telling these stories. That's what I gather they're hoping is to create situations and songs and words that are interesting for the sake of being interesting rather than really trying to inform us of anything. At least that's what I understand after watching some interviews with them. The other great part of the night was all of the people there that I knew. A bunch of musicians. It was very cool because there were people who I didn't talk to, and then there they were. I said, "Oh, so you know about Black Midi?" And I said, "No, but and I appreciate this. When I looked and saw, because I've been pretty vocal about it, that I'm going to Black Midi, I said, particularly Marcy Yates, this hip hop artist. He says, no, I didn't know nothing about him. Not even the opening guy, Quala Chris, who is a hip hop artist. But when I saw who's coming to the show, I said, I better go. And they said, right on. I said, I'll check with you afterwards, see what you think. The opener was this guy named Quella Chris, I think is how his name is said. Modern hip hop is what I call it. He really got the audience in his corner, but it was like, to me, his whole shtick was geared towards a younger mind frame than mine. So I enjoyed watching him do his thing and get the audience in his corner. It was of note that his DJ was House Shoes. Do you guys know who House Shoes? Once he announced that that was who was on the decks, and I was sharing it with the people I was with, and that's House Shoes, and nobody knows who he is. And I said, DJ Shadow? Yeah? House Shoes? Don't you know shit? I had fun with that. So good night. It was a good music. I like the songs. They do have some parts of songs that are like... Morgan and Jordy said this in a couple of interviews I just watched getting ready for the show, that they will try things. And even if an idea seems goofy, they'll try it and do it anyway because it might work. And interestingly, some of the quieter parts last night at the show, mostly they worked. There was one part where I thought to myself, I can't understand the words, and this, for me, is not working. This part of the show. And I'll be glad when they bring the pace back up, which of course they did. It was a great show. And they're a very good young band. Very good. More to come from that band, I would say. It was great to see all my friends. So many friends there last night. I mean... People, I'm blessed. People, I'm blessed. You folks that don't know me, never spent a minute in my company, you have no idea. You don't. I'm blessed. So Stan, let me tell you this about the Howl in the Typewriter, because I have now listened to each one of these to a degree. Manifesto. First off, this packaging. This is interesting. There's this soft, it's like this added cushion for the disc inside. I've never seen anything like that. Plus the way that it's folded down like that and cut. That is interesting to me. What I have to say, Stan, about Howl in the Typewriter is I like your stance. What you keep saying in this. This is a one piece of music that goes on for over an hour. It says that he worked on it for 7 years. It's basically fuck off. We don't want what you're selling. I'm down with this. This is my point of view about life, which is corporate greed and just the materialistic focus of life is just so sick. And it sucks. So I like that that's the focus of what you're saying. This music is all over the place, and to me it seems like you almost have to, it's almost like there's it sounds like you have invest a lot of time and enjoy putting all this music together, because you do a lot of it. But I'm a music maker, and so that there's parts where it's like, well, this part is kind of okay, now this part's working, and this part is like I say, the vocals are just like this there, they do their job, but they don't draw me in. There were parts of this one, Howl on the Typewriter, where it's instrumental, and I enjoy the instrumental passages more. And this one too, Sound of Music. Howl in the Typewriter. But I must say though that pardon me, there's people who don't know about this who would probably really get into this. So I'll there's the label, Pump. I wish I could get things to focus. I'll try to remember to put the address in the description box. That's mainly what I wanted to share, was my reflections on the... I like Black Midi. I like Black Midi. Only other thing that I played, besides what I played while I had company yesterday, another good visit with my young friend Nick. He and I really have some really good conversations. Nick is 27, going on 28, and I met him through, when I first met him, it was through smoking pot, and he's quit. He's completely quit. Really needed to. I'm really glad that he did. He's an intelligent, very articulate, and observant young man. I love our conversations. I love an intelligent conversation. So the only other thing that I have to show you, well, a couple things. No, actually. Smithereens, Black Mirror. That was a episode of Black Mirror, the series. And this episode, the soundtrack is by Ryuichi Sakamoto, and it's, for me, the best part of that particular show. I did see this series as much as I could. I saw this show. I like the soundtrack of the show. Sakamoto is just in a class of his own. I told you the other night that my friend Frank was by, and we're both huge Catherine Wheel fans, and so we listened to some together, and then I played some more of this the next day, like Cats and Dogs. This is the reissue. This originally came out on a 10-inch, another one of those Hypnosis covers. But this originally came out as a double 10-inch. Then it was reissued for Record Store Day on this really sweet purple vinyl. And I love this band. They have not aged to me. This music still sounds of the moment. And both Frank and I, we scratch our heads as to, this was one of those bands that was so good, and it just really seemed like they could break through. And I guess they just didn't have the right type of sex appeal or something, because it was there in the music. Incredible band. Okay, I'm looking here and seeing I got more records that I forgot about. Didn't get all the way through this, but this is a recent purchase. Consequenz 2 by Conrad, Schnitzler, and Wolf Sequenza. So the recordings go back, I think, to the 80s. Angular, really icy and edgy sounds, timbres on the synthesizers. I love it. I love it. And it's several short pieces on the first side, one long piece on the B. I particularly like the short pieces, the variety and the way things keep changing. I was watching Pop Goes the 60s or something like that. It's one of those shows, and the guy focuses on the 60s and the past, and does a really good job. Does a lot of research. And he was interviewing some guy, and they got to talking about a song on here, on a Surrealistic Pillow, Jefferson Airplane. What a fantastic album. I've had this forever, even though it's like a used, whoever that person was, this was originally their copy. But they were discussing the song DCBA and what it's about. And so it got me to play it, and this whole album is just great. Just great. Another time period piece that I love. The UK Kaleidoscope. They were also called Fairfield Parlor. I still want to get those records. Tangerine Dream. I love this. Again, another example of where They were on the cusp of trying to get through on the pop market, getting on TV and all that, and trying to have the right look. Really good songs, though. Very good songs. So there's some music for you. The other thing that I have out that I was listening to, primarily listening to it for more sample material. I love this work, but I do use stuff like this to use for materials, depending on my ideas. This is Bernard Parmegiani, the Natura and the Sonorum. This is a reissue of some of his older work where he is one of those people who were the first to really play with sound, tape recorders, recording objects, changing tape speeds, all that sort of thing. Interesting stuff. Groundbreaking. So that's what I have to share this morning. I hope everyone's doing okay. Hey, family, we didn't do a Zoom this weekend. Let me know if you want to do a Zoom again soon, Stephanie. That pretty much any time is fine with me, really. Okay, people. Take care.